Welcome everybody to episode number 1 of the Tennis Culture Podcast. My name is Nelson Parker.
My name is Reza Tomset.
You came in very quick then.
I was just trying to be right on time.
You were. It's very rare for you. You're usually late, so right on time is good. How are you, Rez?
I'm good.
That's good.
Was I on time there?
Like I said, my name is Nelson, and Rez, you are my business partner. We run Get Set Tennis here in Canberra. We run a couple of tennis coaching companies, businesses. We've got a couple of clubs around Canberra. We've wanted to start this podcast for quite a while now, and we talk about many things in life, but a lot of stuff about tennis. Obviously, it's the sport that we both grew up playing. It's our career, and we notice a lot of things around the world about the culture of the sport, and we kind of wanted to touch base and just have a platform where we can talk about things that aren't necessarily just about how to get a better forehand or a better serve, but what we believe the game that we love needs, what we'd love to see more of, issues that we've come across, maybe solutions that we'd like to see. And I'm really excited to do this one, and I know you are as well.
Yeah, I'm actually interested also in attaching it to all levels of tennis. Now, not just the high performance stuff, but also recreation, families, communities, that sort of thing. So it's a very amazing topic to touch base on. And I'm excited to get onto it.
Yeah. Well, what I thought we'd do today for all those listening is we're just going to quickly go through our backgrounds ever so quickly, and then go into what we believe the culture of tennis is like at the moment, and maybe some things we'd like to see. I've started playing quite a young age. I played all through my juniors. When I was 18, went over to America, dabbled in coaching, back and forth there in my early 20s. I met you in America, weirdly, out of all the places.
Very bizarre.
We both kind of grew up in Canberra area, but we met in Odessa, Texas, which is...
I guess we're in different demographics or different areas.
I guess so, yeah. Well, I mean, you are a lot older than me, so you're probably hanging out with my parents and things like that. So.
You know what? Drew, love you, man.
But yeah, I finished up coaching in the States 2015, came back here, started Get Set Tennis, was doing that for about a year, and then, we were friends and I brought you on board, and now we run 50-50 Get Set Tennis. We are business partners, and kind of that's my little quick rundown. Yours?
Yeah, same. I actually started pretty late, about 11 or 12, which is why I think my tennis passion is so high. I think when you start really young, hardcore competitive, it becomes difficult to maintain that love because you get quite intense into it. Anyway, that's another story. I started playing tournaments probably around 14, 15, so a bit late. Started coaching when about 16, 17. I went overseas to America, met you, spent 10 years in the States in Florida for a company that was really into high-level resort-based tennis and club mentality and club culture, which was really awesome to see. And America does a really great job in the private sector for tennis coaching. Then I came back around 2015 as well, same time. And we got together in 2017, I think, Get Set Tennis. We started working together then and became business partners from there.
There we go. Now we can't get rid of each other.
Now he's right here in front of me. So close.
So, like I said, one of the reasons I wanted to start this podcast was to talk about the culture and all things inside and outside of tennis. I guess my question to start this off, and the thing we'll talk about today, is where do you believe, or what do you see as the culture of tennis? When people say tennis to you right now, just give a blanket statement on what do you believe the culture is like in the tennis environment here in Australia at the moment?
I think in Australia it's in a kind of a turning point. I think we've had some brilliant talent come through, and Australia's tennis history has always been so strong. You look at your Newcombs, your Roaches, Roy Emersons, Rod Laver, of course, and even on the women's side, Margaret Court, Yvonne Goolagong. We had some amazing champions. And then we had that kind of blank period, got into the Rafter and Hewitt era, where we went really well, and now we're kind of tapered down, and we're a country that has some good, strong talent in the pro circuit department, but we're lacking that sort of champions mentality, and that's kind of dominated by Europe, by Spain. I was looking the other day at the rankings, and it's Italy, Spain, France. Switzerland's got a few. And those three countries constitute the third of the top 100 rankings, which is insane.
Yeah. It is pretty crazy. I think that when you look at where the Aussies are, we've kind of got that lone wolf in Ash at the moment, who's dominating. But the biggest gap between Ash, who's obviously world number one, Ash Barty, and then the next few Aussies, there is quite a gap. And I'd love to see us sort of in the mix a little bit more on both sides. There hasn't been a number one male tennis player from Australia for quite a while since Stewart. It's so good to see what Ash is doing. I think she's setting a real good precedence for the tennis. I think the thing for me when it comes to the culture in tennis here in Australia is I think that I would love to see a little bit more of a vibe around the lower ranked players and sort of boosting them up a little bit more. We always love a champion. Australia loves a champion, and we've always been known in the past to also love an underdog. And I feel like that's kind of been washed away a little bit in recent times over the last few years. You know, we put so much emphasis and attention towards, you know, the big three on the men's side. You know, we always pay attention to Ash when she's winning. And I'd love to see a little bit more attention go to these, you know, guys and girls who are floating around, you know, that 100, 150, 200, like some great players there.
Amazing.
And I just don't think they kind of get the credit and the push forward they deserve. If you're top 100 in any sport, if you're top 100 in the NBA or in golf, or in anything else, you're a well-known name. You get a lot of attention. Even look at all the papers here in Australia. You know, in New South Wales, it's dominated by rugby league. If you're in the top 100 rugby league players, you're getting attention. You know, I feel like in tennis, if you're in the top 3 or 4, maybe yes. And then outside of that, it kind of gets, you know, dwindled away and swept under the carpet a little bit. So let's talk about that. That's on the high end of the scale. In terms of where we are, you know, on that grassroots level, you know, the recreational side of things, we coach probably 85 to 90% of the people we coach are in that recreational space. It's the kids who are starting off playing tennis. It's the kids who are learning how to score, learning how to play, playing tournaments for the first time. Adults who are maybe coming back in after, you know, a long time on the sidelines, or, you know, just trying to get back into the sport.
Or parents of kids who are wanting to join the sport because of their kids.
What do you find in where we've worked here for the last few years? How do you find the culture of tennis in that recreational space at the moment?
I think it's actually on a high right now. I think in terms of relative to, you know, participation, I think it's going really well from a coaching perspective. So tennis is being used as an opportunity to learn about the sport, but learn about sports ethics and morality and other key components that can help you throughout the world, like a game for life concept.
Yeah.
Because tennis is one of the few sports that you can play forever. When I say forever, obviously your full life. So we have kids at 4, we have players in the age of, you know, up to 80 playing good level tennis and enjoying the health benefits of playing tennis. So I think the culture there is good. I think the playing culture starts to get more difficult because I think there's a coaching ratio which is quite high. I think we're going to start tapping into a playing ratio a little bit more. So in terms of culture, I think it's improving. I think kids that come to the sport who technically or don't have a great understanding of sports ethics, well, I know I try really hard. I know a few of my friends do this as well in the coaching environment, try to push that ethics and morality in the coaching world.
Yeah. So
that it's used, because most players, when you think about how many become, I'll put inverted commas, professional tennis players, it's so low, that percentage.
Yeah.
Like you said before, like there's no visibility on the outside the top 100 or top even 50, you know. But the kids all know who Roger and Rafa and Novak are, or Serena or Ash Barty, which is amazing, by the way. So in terms of that becoming a professional tennis player, it's so difficult, and you never take that dream away. I think it needs to be reachable by everybody, but the reality is you got to have those kids playing tennis for the right reasons.
Yeah,
they got to have the right culture, and the players at the top of the game, they have an amazing culture. Ash Barty is an amazing ambassador for the sport. Roger is an amazing ambassador for the sport. So is Rafa. Novak is becoming a better ambassador for the sport. And Serena, when she's not arguing with linespeople and umpires, is also a pretty good ambassador for the sport too.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head that everyone's got to sort of find, I guess, what their tennis journey. I know it sounds very philosophical, but like, what's your goal in tennis? And I think us as coaches at this grassroots level, and anyone who's a coach out there, really needs to have that conversation with everybody who they coach. And you need to have the discussion of like, hey, what are you here to actually achieve?
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, not everyone who walks through the door who wants to play tennis wants to be the next Ash Barty. You know, there's going to be people who want to just play for fun. There's going to be people who want to be just there because they're with their friends. Some people just want to get active and be exercising. Some people just want to, to be able to beat their brother-in-law at Christmas. So they got bragging rights. And I think somewhere where we get stuck as a tennis coaching culture here in Australia and around the world is we have this one method of coaching, and it's sort of my way or the highway. Look, you come in, we coach you like this. If you're not up to scratch, or there's no bending of the rules for different people. And it's so dumb because there are so many different people that come in for so many different reasons. And I have a difficult, not a difficult group, but a group that I coach. It's very, there's a lot of variety in the group. Some kids are there because they've said, no, so I want to be pro. And some kids are there because they've been coming for 6 years and their mates come. And so I put it to the group the other day. And I said, guys, I want you to tell me, what are you guys here for? Because I need to know so I can coach you accordingly. Because I'm going to coach somebody slightly different who wants to become a pro player to someone who wants to just do it for fun. And I think we're a bit blind and maybe even stubborn to think that what we do is it. We need to be constantly molding and adapting to the clients, the customers, the students that come in, so we can then get the best out of them. And if you coming back to what we're talking about in culture, where it is in the recreational stage, I think that there is just a lot of old school coaches, or not even old school coaches, old school mentalities, where people come in, you get coached the way you get coached, you like it, great, you don't, you leave. And I hate that. I think it's dumb. And I think we need to be encouraging people to play more tennis. More people playing tennis, the better. Like you said, it's a game you can play your entire life. So why not get people playing and enjoying it to the level that they want to play and enjoy? And I feel like that's where you get the most buzz as a coach. It's not so much taking a kid to, national championships and getting there, which I'm sure is a great feat in itself. But, teaching a kid to slice serve for the first time, or, when a kid finally beats their dad on the weekend and it's because they've been working hard on something, or, the kid just is having a rough time at school or a rough time at home and they come to tennis and it's just a release. And I think we've got to be a little more awake to the fact that we need to create a culture where people are going to come in and thoroughly enjoy as well as progress. And that's what I think is missing as a blanket over the coaching industry at the moment.
And what do you think those skills do when the kid builds confidence, or the person builds confidence on the court and has an amazing time, builds internal confidence? It translates to the rest of their life.
Oh, yeah.
And that's to me is the biggest thing. The biggest success is not, obviously the tennis component is the most visible one, but when a kid comes back and is more happy at school, or more happy, or a parent comes to me and says, thank you so much for helping this kid in terms of building their confidence, so much happier, can't stop talking about their coaching session, looking forward to every week. That to me is what tennis is about. Now, you've hit the nail on the head again about adapting your coaching. And I like the fact that I can adapt to a student, but I love it when a student adapts to me too. So we compromise, because it is a relationship, and there's also a relationship with the family. And yes, we run a business. We run a business here at our 2 local clubs here, but we're dealing with families, we're dealing with communities, and there's a real personal connection. And like any personal relationship, sometimes it's brilliant and it's on fire, and sometimes it's not great. Sometimes it's a bit, I messed up, you messed up, someone's being, misbehaving, or someone is rude or something like that. And that's where the most lessons are learned, I find. So I 100% agree with you. And using tennis as that platform to better success overall is the key.
It's so funny you say that, like, about the whole, you're building relationships. And this is something I believe all coaches need to do. And you know what clicked for me, and this is a while ago, when COVID hit, people talked about, okay, pulling back on the things that weren't essential. There's a lot of financial crisis and whatnot. And that's when it sort of made me realize, I'm like, people are using their money, all right, to pay for a service to learn how to play tennis. Now, this is not an essential service, all right? It's not like food on the table or a roof over your head. This is like an extra, it's a bonus. And people are either working hard to make extra money to then pay for tennis, or they're taking it out of what they have. It's in their budget. And I think when we realize that as coaches, it's a privilege to have people spend their hard-earned money to come to us. So the least we can do is is make it the most positive experience possible for what they want and build on those relationships. It's funny you say you got you build a relationship with the parents as well as the kids or whoever you're coaching. I don't know about you, but the best items and gifts that I've ever gotten are those handwritten notes and cards from kids who, maybe have to stop tennis, or at the end of the year give you a Christmas card and it's scribbled and there's an N backwards. Can you do N? You can N's. Yeah, N's can go
Which
backwards.
way do they go?
I don't know, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but yeah.
And you get those, and they just say, "Hey, look, I have so much fun when I come to tennis with you," and it's just that right there, like, is worth its weight in gold. And if you're not doing things that people aren't willing to do that or don't feel the need to do that, then you maybe need to change up the way that you coach. If it's just cold and impersonal, it's just a clock in, clock out like any other job. People see through that too. Like, you can't hide that for very long.
But some people don't know better. That's the other thing too. So that's why I would, when someone asked me if someone was to get a lesson somewhere else or in a location, my coaches I would select are not necessarily the best technical coaches or the most starred players. I would pick one that I found would be the most personal connection or the most viable, would sync better, personality-wise. That's what I would focus on the most. So
that's one thing you can't teach either. Like, if anyone's ever thinking about trying to get a job as a tennis coach, or at least, Get Set Tennis, we've got plenty of room for growth as well. But
we do need help.
If someone comes to me and says, "Hey, I want to help out your business. I want a job," the first thing that I start looking for is, okay, how are your communication skills? How adaptable are you? Have you got some character? Because these are things that you just can't teach. You can help people bring out the best in them, but you can teach someone how to teach a forehand. You can teach someone how to teach a serve. You can teach someone something technical. It's the facts. It's they're easy. But what you can't teach is, you can't teach someone how to care. You can't teach someone how to go the extra mile, how to do those extra things. And I think coming back and sort of starting to put this all together of what this first episode about is, I think that I would love to see more and more of those things happen in the culture of tennis. And I'm not just talking about at the grassroots recreational level. I'm talking about that at the high performance level. I'm talking about at international level and at the professional level. I think that there needs to be a better job done of creating relationships and bringing out the best in the person who is on their tennis journey. That would be my sum up of what I think tennis culture needs.
What a great summarization.
It's like I practiced that, but I didn't.
You did, didn't you?
I did. So, look, we'll wrap things up here. I'm looking forward to what's to come. We're going to be touching on all sorts of subjects in terms of, picking our favorite players, talking about, the pros and cons of our favorite players. We're talking about coaching styles. We'll be talking about some of the things that we see on the daily basis at all levels. I know you're looking forward to talking about a few issues or items as well.
Yeah, definitely. I am also looking forward to priorities of the development of players, and I'm also looking forward to how to help families connect on the court together. So mums and dads getting on the court with their kids, helping them on their tennis journey. Because despite some bad stories in the past, the parents are vital to a kid's tennis journey and getting the right message to them.
Yeah, definitely. And for any of you who are listening, if you have an item or a subject that you'd love us to discuss or you'd like to ask us, please let us know. You can message us on the Get Set Tennis Instagram page. That's Get Set Tennis Official. Or you can reach out to myself or Rez at getsettennis.com.au. Let us know what you'd like us to talk about, if there's something at your club or if you're a tennis player just embarking on your journey. Anything you'd like to know, from technical advice to how to get into tournaments and point play, or if you just want to have a chat with us, just...
Yeah, even a conversation on whether you agree with us or not. We love a little bit of banter, a little bit of, I wouldn't say argument, debate.
I like an argument.
You do like an argument.
Yeah.
Well, let's call it a debate.
Yeah, okay.
A friendly debate.
Yeah.
Contact us. We're ready.
Okay. Well, guys, thank you so much. That wraps up our first episode of Tennis Culture Podcast. This has been Nelson and Rez from Tennis Culture signing out. We talked about that. I'll do it, then you do it.
Oh, sorry. We don't do it together? Okay.
Not bad for your first go.